will not be allowed to continue. Before starting, please state your name and place of residence. Do we have anybody here for public comment tonight?
Eventually, high schools would be great as well. But I'm going very fast. Trivial, embarrassing that OSU, Ohio State, Case West Reserve, University, PLA, all these universities I'm reaching out to, they don't even offer courses. It's a little bit tricky trying to get in there. But worse, really embarrassing, I just wanted to share with you tonight. In December 2025, at the Penobscot Judicial Center in Wilbur v. Norton, there was plaintiff made some comments to the judge and complaints about the nature of my character and behavior in general. And the judge decided for and in favor of the plaintiff. And so I have been certified as a stalker in the state of Maine as of December 2025. And after that, I was talking to some of the professionals at the court, and they said, well, if you're going to try to get a class into schools in Maine, it's going to be very tough, but not impossible. But you're going to have to share with them that fact. Maybe it will speed up the background investigation process. Maybe it won't, but hopefully it will. And have a very great 2026. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. All right, moving into action or moving into superintendent's proposals and updates. Looks like we have no action items tonight. We do have several informational items, starting with the New England Association of Schools and College NEASC report. Superintendent Robinson.
Thank you. Principal Dr. Butler will provide the committee with an update on the special progress report through NEASC regarding our accreditation. Thank you, Dr. Butler.
A good time to reflect a little bit, also scan ahead, because accreditation, like I said, is a heavy lift. It does involve the committee, involves public awareness, certainly teaching students, of course, as well. So it's a lot. I've decided to just give you the soup to nuts with some flavor in there of how we go about it and what we're looking forward to. So NEASC is our accrediting body. NEASC is an acronym for the New England Association of Schools and Colleges. Schools seek to become accredited. The NEASC regional accreditation, there are 6 across the country that roughly align to how we think of the states and regions, Southeast, West, et cetera. They don't have a standard name, but they have a standard profile being the gold standard by which every 10 years a school opens itself up prior to a visit to a deep self-study across 6 or 7 areas. Has a real long collaborative process, looks forward to a site visit. And we are past year 7 into year 8 and looking forward to a 2028 reaccreditation through NEASC. So again, NEASC is the New England Association of Schools and Colleges. If you do the research, dig into this at all, you'll see that NEASC, among the gold standard accreditors, is considered the top one. They're tough, and they should be. They're the regional accrediting body for schools and colleges in New England. It's I consider it an external check-up process on a lot of different levels. It focuses on, ultimately on school quality as measured by standards and indicators, focuses on teaching, learning, leadership, and resources. Get a little more detailed. I know the committee does have the report, but we'll try to reinforce some things as we go out that are important takeaways. And ultimately, it's a signal that that crest that leads the document is the most recently issued and only privately password protected access to the actual accreditation badge that you, as an accredited school, are given the opportunity to flash in various ways as a sign of your accreditation and having gone through a process with NEASC. So the cycle is 10 years. It's a 10-year process. We are past the 7-year mark. So the process includes comprehensive self-study. Our last one went for 15 months. So that would put us, if we're preparing for 2028, it would put us in the middle of, maybe at the end of this school year, but certainly into the fall of next school year, launching into the self-study. It's committee-driven. There's teacher leadership. You're asked to have a process by which you select people and cross departments and across roles in schools to constitute committees that take not only an insider look at one's own content, but through the lens of multiple people who share their work at the school, but in different segments of the curriculum or different segments of the building. So the comprehensive self-study is, in my time, boys, my memory is probably not as sharp as it used to be, but we were teetering on the point where NEASC was, as all organizations do, they migrate from pen and paper to more digital upload. That NEASC, I recall us being on the sort of paper and pencil end on the self-study and migrating into the portal upload, et cetera, as it came time to submit, interact with the organization post-visit and file reports, interim reports that I'll give a little more detail on later. But ultimately it leads to, the language has changed somewhat. They call it a collaborative conference. It used to be a site visit where you literally have all this work on display. You have the school ready to receive a body of people who come literally from classrooms across New England. Most of them, in my experience last time, was all teachers from Maine that have various backgrounds, various experiences within the school, and they come to your school, are assigned on the site visit at the direction of a chair of your NEASC accreditation committee, are assigned roles, and then undertake their review work over a period of 4 days in consultation with the school. There's an invitation, sort of a welcoming by the school committee. There's opportunities to interact with pleasantries and all the good things that human beings do. And then you get right into it over 4 pretty intense self-study days that results ultimately in a report. Accreditation is not just a one-time thing. It's intended to be revisited. In the most recent 7-year report, there was, I read it with a little like, was it ever in question? The committee has decided to continue your accreditation. You don't lose it. It's not like you come out the other side with any metric that says you're A+, B-. It is you are accredited. Every school has things they need to work on. Every school has things they do well. And it's the perspective and experience of NEASC to look at those things critically and to give you actionable steps that you follow up with through a 5- and 7-year report, and of course, action on the school level. So again, we had our review in 2018. It's a 10-year cycle. We had a 15-month self-study. We had broad participation from faculty, administrators, committee members, district leaders, the school committee. Again, a big hall. You put a lot into, you want to put a good show on. You want to show your best. And that's, to me, that's been what's the most rewarding part of the NEASC process. What do they say? The carpenter's house is never finished. Or when you walk around the school, I'm reminded when I walk around the school and I'm asked to show people things that they want to see as evidence of good practice or innovation, whatever it is. It's nice to be reminded and find ways to relate to people who are visiting, looking for quality, pointing them to quality. So that'll be repeated as we prepare for a couple of years from now. The outcome in 2018 was we were reaccredited, and it is a comprehensive process. It ended in a 104-page report. I read every word. It goes to the committee. It gets parked on the website. It's consulted as, that report comes with commendations, it comes with needs and priorities. Sometimes those things are concrete, such as look at your cafeteria, consider new spaces where the nurse might work. Think of these layout things up to and include what's your vision of a graduate, what evidence can you show us that you're personalizing learning? How can you show us and demonstrate in a relatively large school how you're streamlining instruction and how you're keeping things comparable and balanced? So it's a comprehensive report. It's, again, guides the follow-up and focuses on these standards. They put them in two large buckets: teaching and learning, and support and resources. Teaching and learning has to do with your core values, the expectations for learners, how written curriculum, enacted curriculum, actual instruction, and how students are assessed. And then on support and resources, what's your culture, what's your school culture and leadership, what resources. That's where you'll see on the resources for learning, they'll look at things like infrastructure. And a good living example, I wasn't at the high school at the time, but sometime at the end of, in the 90s, the last accreditation in the 1990s, there was concern about the quality of the science classrooms. There was concern about some elements of age of the building that resulted in a pretty fast-tracked renovation that resulted in new science labs, the telescope, the catwalk that connected the two wings, the extension of a wing, and created sort of all of the flow with some updates and things that I believe was the impetus of that was accreditation saying, hey, you really should look at these things. So those are the standards. As I shared, the point of the report is obviously to commend good practice and to encourage a look relative to standards and expectations broadly. How can you be better? The strengths were clear. They identified clear, shared core values and strategic direction of the schools. There was identification of access. That was a key theme that keep coming up: broad access to rigorous and diverse courses and learning and academic programming. They saw evidence of really strong engagement of students inside and outside of the classroom. They saw a positive, safe school culture emphasizing the sense of belonging. There it is. And responsibility, and practices that not only scheduled courses well, but in a way that focused on access, student access, and long-term outcomes. So we were pleased with that. Academic program highlights, they paid a lot of attention, and it's still remarkable at the high school. Advanced placement, honors, and dual enrollment opportunities at that time, even since the 2018 report, the number and ability for students to access dual enrollment courses has quadrupled at least. And so that was just kind of burgeoning when they did their last visit, and we had a lead on that. We'd done a lot of work with rural schools, rural U, Bridge Year. A lot of those things were fledgling. And now later, they've proliferated to the point where we have 7 in-house dual enrollment courses at the high school. That's a high number. I don't have any comparator, but it's a good number for us. And so that's something that we built on. They were pleased with the career in CTE, all those pathways, how pathways to UTC, how available it is made, and how frequently it's accessed. They paid a lot of attention to the academy programs. At that time, it was STEM, and I think it's STEM and Visual Performing Arts. And since then, we've added business and the Humanities Academy on that same model. They saw that at school within a school as a really positive thing. And they cited high engagement of students in co and extracurricular activities was a highlight. In terms of needs, theme-based, wanted more, as always, improved consistency in documentation of the curriculum across departments. They wanted us to look at fully implementing cross-curricular rubrics that were in development at the time, assessments and those rubrics. They encouraged us to look at expanding interdisciplinary and cross-content collaboration courses, while also maintaining a focus on that idea of one of our hallmarks, which is equitable access as programs grow. And very specifically, we consulted the NEAS document when we took a review of STEM after 8 years. It was our original, academy. We had a good amount of data where we were saying, these are the issues that we're seeing with access. How do we do a better job of on-ramping students? How do we do a better job of making it accessible to students and supporting them persisting through the program? So that's one way in which the accreditation highlights an idea and encourages you to continue and review through that lens. So In terms of follow-up, there's a, in terms of follow-up, there's a requirement that you file periodic progress reports. They sort of tier out their recommendations, tier out over time the indicators they'd like you to address first. You address them, you put them through your systems of communication and whatever you're doing in your school to respond to them in writing in the portal at 5 years. At 7 years, same thing. Schools are expected to address the recommendations over time, including those reports, and seek resolution of the indicators or the things they thought were necessary or highlighted as needs or possibilities for growth when the team visited. And they're really a roadmap for improvement with the lens and the experience that NEAS brings to your school. So key takeaways I would say for tonight are we're a fully accredited NEAS school. We have the badge. I have proprietary rights to the NEAS logo and I display it proudly on our letterhead. The review affirmed a lot of good things, that we have strong practice across all NEAS standards. Every school has something they can work on. We've been working on those. We'll continue to do so. The idea of being accredited and open yourself up with depth and commitment like we do is that we're transparent, that we have trust of organizations. We value an external check and we value the time to look at ourselves critically. And barring any need, either on the part of NEAS or the high school or the district, will prepare beginning perhaps at the end of this year, but certainly into next school year, pulling together the committees to do the self-study. And the reason I reference that is we were actually, our last cycle, 2018, was supposed to have been conducted in 2015. NEAS asked us a couple of times, hey, do you mind putting it off? Do you mind putting it off? Okay. And then we asked one time, and I don't recall the specific reason, but there was a good bona fide reason for us to say, hey, can we do this in another year? I'm not thinking along those lines right now personally, from my perspective, the high school, but what we've done is we've had, leading into the accreditation, the self-study, we get flooded with requests from the NEAS to send teachers on visiting teams. And we'll do that within about 2 or 3 years out. So have a teacher who was requested, we're debating, discussing about that teacher going, but certainly we gotta be good neighbors. They do need people who are experienced and willing. And it also informs your own work at your school, preparing for the logistics of the visit. But it's also a good way to steal some cool ideas and, refresh the lens and all that stuff. So looking forward to it. I did list on back the sources. Oh, there it is right there. Sources that I use, pretty simple, straightforward. Be happy to answer any questions you have.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Butler. Any questions from the committee? Member Luciana?
Thank you so much for this presentation. I had a quick question if we are using any of those findings in preparation with the strategic planning. So any of those suggestions or implementation, we could look at those maybe in conjunction with that and just see if there's an opportunity to incorporate those.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Member Cook?
Dr. Butler mentioned that this is a comprehensive process. This is a very heavy lift for everyone in the school community, but it's a very valuable process. And so I'm wondering, with the commendations and recommendations that are made, does the district or does the high school work with maybe a regional organization like PrEP to access other districts, understanding that, every context is different, but to understand what their strengths are and then provide our expertise where, we're really thriving, so that if they have a strength in developing those rubrics, we might be able to, have someone come and present on that or something or other. Okay.
I mean, Kathy does a great job. Dr. Harris-Smedberg does a great job of leading us in those directions. A fresh pair of eyes, experiences of a school, have a strong connection with all the principals in the region. We probably don't meet enough, but there's great spirit in that way. And there's, I would say from our perspective, a good attitude toward the work of others and how it can help us. So would certainly be open to that.
Any other questions from the committee? Member Speed?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Butler, for the presentation and to the teachers and staff at Bangor High School for all the hard work. And I'm sure students had a lot of participation as well. Yeah, so I know teaching in the Ellsworth schools as part of the technical center there, we were part of the Maine State accreditation process. And I know Ellsworth High School did the NEASC process as well. And I know how extensive it is and how much work goes into it. 18 months of preparation is incredible. And I love what you said about how, giving back to the process and how much you can learn from that. I know when I had a chance to visit other technical centers, I just learned so much just from seeing other classrooms, other programs. So I love that learning is happening and ongoing. One of the things provided in our packet was a letter from a recent revisit, right? So October of this 2025, and they had a chance to kind of review some of the things that, the improvements that you're working on. And a couple of the things that the commission was pleased to see, which was, I was excited as well, was the deliberate steps taken to improve grading and reporting consistency across identical courses, as well as the personalization that is now viewed by the professional staff as differentiated, responsive teaching that connects curriculum outcomes to individual students' readiness, interests, and learning profiles. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about those two things and what was, yeah, go ahead.
A couple of substantive things we had done that personalized things. For the first time, I guess it was 2017, we surveyed students around some of our core classes. We had pretty standard sequential English curriculum, for example, multiple genres, American Lit, British Lit, World Lit. So we surveyed students about what themes they were interested in, how would that inform how we might adjust our classes so they were more relevant to them and draw more engagement. So I think personalizing in that way, even though it doesn't meet the technical, cross-referencing to the standard, I think it speaks to that. It also speaks to personal learning plans and counselors and the role students play in mapping out their courses based on interest in post-secondary plans. In terms of NEAS language, they want to see that there is a vision of a graduate. What do they need to know and be able to do? How does each content area define those and assess those skills? How much time do they have to really look at individual student learning? Is it scheduled time? How structured is it? And how related is it to actual points of assessment in the curriculum? The whole idea is that personalization certainly has a broad meaning, but in some ways it usually has a connotation of, okay, this learning is not relevant, this student isn't thriving, what needs to happen differently? So in that case, it means we made some specific decisions about our common core element writing assessments, 4 types. We were all, when we launched them, we were gung-ho. We're going to get all kids to the mountaintop. And it's a little scary because, you look halfway through and you see a number of students in the sophomore year who are still lagging a little bit on some of those core embedded writing tasks. And we said, well, that's evidence that we've written good assessments. It's evidence that we need to consider that not every student's going to get there on the same timeline. So we need to look at ultimately what's the 4-year run, what can we glean? They spoke to more collaboration across teachers of like courses, common final exam or semester exam, common assessment in terms of cross table 4 or 5 teachers who teach algebra. What are your students struggling with? How are you, or do we need to adjust the semester exam? Those are the things that they're speaking to, that every student, there is a system set up not only to engage kids, but there's a language and there's a routine and a bigger picture about which students are thriving, which students need more, and that there's an orchestrated effort around those things. So I think that speaks to the comments from that was the 7-year report that they were responding to.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Dr. Butler. Next, we have the superintendent's update. Superintendent Robinson?
Thank you. So you do have a copy of my report in your packets. Prior to our break, we did have several performances, all very successful. We have hired our school-based behavioral specialist. She'll be starting in February, so there'll be more information on that. That was connected to the opioid settlement grant that we're doing a number of different things with. At this point, I don't want to steal our student representatives' updates at all, but I know that they are preparing for midterms. That's all I'm going to say. In terms of the school department, we are continuing with the Beyond the Bell podcast. It's going very well. We were fortunate to have someone come from the DOE, and we're trying to expand outward, but also look inward. So upcoming, we are looking at gathering staff members who may want to be involved. We did have principals, at least one, and there'll be more, don't worry. More to come, but it's going well. The Bangor Bulletin, I've added to that, doing a monthly student edition. I feel like it's been really challenging getting to the schools regularly and really being able to have some deep conversations, or at least, more conversations with students. So I thought one way to do that would be to create a video for students. So that went out to 4th through seniors, and hopefully they'll get to know me a little better, and then we can have that connection when I come into the schools. The communique, everyone has a prototype copy here tonight. So that's what it looks like printed. The booklets are going to be placed when they're all finished in the areas that are listed in the report. So we have a number of different locations in and around the city so that they are available in print form. And then, of course, we have the digital version that goes out for folks to look at. We are deep into the FY27 budget process. I've been meeting with administrators along with our director of business to review budgets and start to make those decisions and put together for our February 11th workshop. Our school-based health clinics, they have been providing us with a monthly update. So in December, they shared with us that since September of last year, we've had an increase in enrollments, and you can see those increases there from 24 to 63%, pretty significant. There is still a wait list for mental health services as of early December. We are working on and have solidified the process for digital report cards, and that will happen for Q2 coming up here shortly for middle school and high school, and paper copies will be available upon request. Dr. Harris Smedberg is currently working with our pre-K teachers to incorporate an increase of time outdoors, and we're connecting that to our science curriculum with a partnership through Maine Audubon. Headed to the MSMA Winter Convocation, which is our winter meeting for superintendents tomorrow. And of course, continuing to monitor federal changes. Happy to answer any questions that anyone has.
Any questions from the committee? Member Speed?
I really appreciate the publication here, Communique, right? Am I saying-
Communique.
Communique.
Communique, yes,
Okay,
it's
thank you.
longstanding. It predates me, and I don't know,
It does, okay,
everyone here probably,
great. Well, thank you.
on the committee at least.
Except Ben.
I'll give-
Oh, I'm sorry, except. Okay.
Really? It came to every house in the city?
I think so.
Wow. And where does it go now?
We have it right now it's going out digitally to everyone.
Oh, okay.
And then we have the actual copies listed that I listed in my report where we place them around the city,
Cool. So
Mhm.
who's the audience for this public?
the whole community.
The whole community.
Mm-hmm,
So young, old,
absolutely.
K through 12 to retired.
Birth through 99, I would say.
Yeah. Nothing against the 100-year-olds that are out there.
Plus.
So I'm curious, Chair Surratt, do we have any sort of newsletter similar to this? Or do we ever take a corner of this? Like, has there ever been an iteration where the the school committee actually uses a similar format or a corner of the communique to communicate with the community?
It's a great question.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't think so, is my answer. I'm not positive, but I
Yeah.
don't believe there's been a space where the school committee itself has communicated something, but
Okay, might be
Good.
something. to
Interesting idea.
Explore, yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Member Sprague?
I would just add the audience, I think, is the community at large. Really, it's not just this people with kids in the schools, it's the whole community because the community funds the school department, but also there's many people who have a interest in what's going on in the schools. Either they are alumni themselves or they're just interested in what's happening in the schools. So I think this, whatever the cost of this, it's worth its return on investment many times over by getting our story and our narrative out into the community. And I think I'm glad to see this kind of making its return. And as I did mention, I think it went out distributed citywide at one point, and I'm sure there's cost to that, but I think that we should try to get this out aggressively. And I don't know if there's a way to like partner with the Bangor Daily News. You know, some people, many people still do get a print subscription of the Bangor Daily News, and it could be included as an insert potentially. I'm sure there's logistics of packing it that I'm not sensitive to that they might push back on, but if we could think of creative ways to get this out, it's worth its weight in gold for sure to have people know what's going on and to feel positive about it.
Thank you. Any other questions on superintendent's update? All right, thank you. Next, we have a report of reassignments. Superintendent Robinson?
I'm reporting the following reassignments. Jocelyn York from occupational therapist at Point 5 Mary Snow School and Point 5 Fairmount School to occupational therapist at Point 5 Mary Snow School, Point 4 Fairmount, and Point 1 James F. Dowdy School.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have report of resignations. Superintendent Robinson?
I'm reporting the following resignations. David Morris, head football coach, Bangor High School. Daniel Mayo, director at the Bangor Regional Program.
Thank you. And we have report of retirements. Superintendent Robinson?
I'm reporting the following retirements for the end of the school year, 2025-2026, unless otherwise noted. Jeffrey Fahey, physical education, Bangor High School. Robert Gould, physical education, Bangor High School. And that's for January 16th, 2026. Susanna Owen, English, Bangor High School. George Redman, music, Bangor High School. Mary Sue Schilling, French, Bangor High School. Certainly a lot of expertise and years listed here. I don't know all of them very well, but I've had the pleasure to meet them briefly and really will be a loss with the retirements, but they've put in a lot of great years.
Yes, I'll just echo that and say, thank you so much to these retirees and congratulations. Thank you for all your service. Moving on to business action items. First is minutes from the regular meeting of December 10, 2025. Superintendent Robinson?
I'm recommending approval of the draft minutes of the December 10th, 2025 regular school committee meeting.
I have a motion.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
7-0, thank you. I'm sorry, 6-0, yeah,
6-0.
thank you. I knew I was.
And we have a personnel nomination. We have a teacher nomination for the 25-26 school year. Superintendent Robinson?
I would like to recommend the following teacher nomination for 2025-2026 with a one-year probationary contract. And I am going to ask Principal Sweat to just share a few words. We have our candidate here, Derek Gendreau.
We have a few words about Mr. Gendro. He is a recent graduate of the University of Maine Farmington, where he also played baseball and soccer there. He was born and raised in Hamden. Some of you may actually know his mom. She works for Parks and Rec here in Bangor, Debbie Gendro. Derek is a fabulous teacher. I have not known him for very long, but he brings light and energy everywhere he goes. From the moment he walked through the door, I just knew from his energy that he would be a fabulous fit at Vine Street School. He comes with glowing recommendations. He recently student taught at Jameson Elementary School in Old Orchard Beach. And when he spoke about interviewing at Vine Street School for this position, the building administrator immediately called me and offered his recommendation for him. So I knew he was just going to be an amazing, he just glowed with how wonderful he was. He student taught in a resource room, and special ed is his passion. Based on his recommendations and as I get to know him more, he has started and just has jumped on board, helping everywhere, doing everything, including helping with substituting today. So I know that his positive attitude, his excitement for learning, he's so eager to learn, and his passion for teaching, he's just going to be a benefit to all of Vine Street School's staff and students. So.
Thank you for that. And I would echo, I met with Mr. Gendro prior to his offer and felt the same. Very impressive.
Great. Thank you. We have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
6-0. Thank you.
Congratulations, Mr. Gendro, and we are very happy you're here.
Welcome officially.
All right, next we have extra duty assignments. Superintendent Robinson?
I'm recommending the following extra duty assignments. Adam Caspella, be baseball coach, William S. Cohen School. Corey Dion, A softball coach, William S. Cohen School. Walker Lenz, track coach, James F. Dowdy School. Donald McDaniel, A softball coach, James F. Dowdy School.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
6-0. Thank you.
All right, moving on to donations. Committee member Sprague will share the following donations.
Thank you. There are quite a few, so please stand by. To Abraham Lincoln School from Golden Key Honor Society, University of Maine, warm gear for students, $200. To Abraham Lincoln School from My New Shoes program, gloves, snow pants, and boots for students, $300. To Downey School from Bangor Savings Bank, snacks, hats, and gloves to support students, $300. To Vine Street School from CNL Aviation, holiday gifts for families, $675. To Vine Street School from Bangor Savings Bank, hats, gloves, sweatpants, and snacks, having a total dollar value of $550. To Fruit Street School from David Teixeira, gloves and boots to support students, $180. To Fairmount School from Maine Savings, campaign to end hunger, a check for the backpack program, having a total dollar value of $1,259.87. To Mary Snow School from Bangor Walmart, boxes of crayons to support students, having a total dollar value of $450. To Mary Snow School from Hannaford Help Schools, a cash donation to support students, $405. To William S. Cohen School from Marlene and Frank Susi, a cash donation to support students through the holidays, $250. To William S. Cohen School from Beth and Art Treaties, a cash donation to support students through the holidays, $250. To William S. Cohen School from Ralph and Chantel Holmes, a cash donation to support the food pantry, $200. To William S. Cohen School from Ralph and Chantel Holmes, a cash donation to support students during the holidays, $100. To William S. Cohen School from Tricia Martin, a cash donation to support the food pantry, $100. To William S. Cohen School from Danielle Thompson Fund, a cash donation to support students, $200. To William S. Cohen and Mary Snow Schools from C.A. Stroud and Sons, a cash donation to support the holiday program, $200. To William S. Cohen School from Sheila Wood, winter boots for students, $100. To William S. Cohen School from Dalen Roderick, gift cards for the holiday program, $150. To William S. Cohen School from Paula Houghton, a cash donation for the holiday program, $100. To William S. Cohen School from Chantel Holmes, gift cards for the holiday program, $200. To William S. Cohen School from Stephen and Dana Ritano, gift cards for the holiday program, $200. To James F. Dowdy School from Bouchard and Sons Towing, toys, bikes, and jackets to support students, having a total dollar value of $2,500. To the Bangor School Department from Fruit Street School, grocery donations to support the Shop at School food drive, $150. To the Bangor School Department from the Abraham Lincoln School community, grocery donations to support the Shop at School food drive, $1,400. To Bangor School Department from Fairmount School PTO, grocery donations to support the Shop at School food drive, $500. To the Bangor School Department from Shelley O'Carey, a cash donation to support the Shop at School food drive, $100. To Bangor School Department from Ruth Gunnell, a cash donation to support the Shop at School food drive, $100. To the Bangor School Department from Sherry Benson and siblings in memory of B. McGrath, a cash donation to support the Shop at School food drive, $120. To the Bangor School Department from Laura Otis and family, canned goods and toiletries to support the Shop at School food drive, $250. To the Bangor School Department from Dr. Claire Mundell and Dr. Bill Wood, food and a cash donation to support the Shop at School food drive, $200. To the Bangor School Department from Anonymous, a cash donation to support the Shop at School food drive, $200. To the Bangor School Department from Angela and Aaron Domina, a grocery donation to support the Shop at School food drive, having a total dollar value of $240. To the Bangor School Department from Anonymous, 5 $20 gift cards to support the food drive, $100. To the Bangor School Department from Anonymous, a Hannaford gift card to support the school food drive, $100. And lastly, to the Bangor School Department from Eric Strout and the Airport Mall Hannaford team, a gift card to support the Shop at School food drive, $191. With gratitude, I would move acceptance.
Thank you. Can we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Oh,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Member Sprague.
technicality, Robert, I think it's just a rules of order thing that Member O'Carey should abstain because she's included. It's silly, but I just think, yeah. It's silly. I get it. But
All right. All those in favor? All-
Five.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yep. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay.
5 and 1.
5 and 1.
Thank you.
All right, wonderful. And I want to also, express gratitude to our school community. And this kind of generosity is really a source of strength for our schools. Thank you. All right, moving along to introduction items. We have first reading of revised policies. May we take these? Is the committee open to taking these all together? Okay. Superintendent Robinson?
Thank you. I'm recommending the first reading of revised policy EFF, meal prices, revised policy GDB 10, educational technology staff compensation guide, revised policy ICA 2026-2027 school calendar, revised policy IHBG homeschooling, revised policy IHBGA homeschooling, participation in school programs, revised policy KBF, parent involvement in Title I.
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion? Member Speed?
Yeah, my first question was on the policy on meal prices. Just curious, why does the price of the meal have to be included in the policy?
Typically, we align our policies to MSMA, which have the sample policies, and we follow that. So that's our typical process. I'd have to look into it if that could be removed, or why does it need to be added?
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. Like, is this something that comes up every year, every time is
It
it
does.
increased every year?
It's typically an annual increase.
Okay,
Mhm.
so it's something that comes before the committee regularly.
Yes,
But it's possible that it could be taken out and just become a part of operations.
possibly, but I don't. Yeah, I'd have to look into that.
Okay.
All set, members? Yep. Member Cook.
And I am seeking a little bit more information from food service on, I understand the cost of milk is related to, because we don't get that federal reimbursement. But I am wondering if food service could provide us with some information around, if there's any food waste generated from students learning that if they get a meal, they could get the milk without having to pay for the milk. So just trying to understand if there's food waste generated, and how we might be able to deal with that, or what that looks like in other places.
Yeah, there is composting happening at least at one of our schools. So that's going on at 14th. And we are looking into a partnership that is going to support the food waste. So I can get more details. I don't have the specific details of that, but I can certainly do that.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Mhm.
I actually have a question related to the 26-27 school calendar. I just had a few folks from school community reach out to me over the last few weeks and ask about the school calendar, and just curious, they're curious about what the process looks like for determining the school calendar. I was wondering if maybe you could share just a little information on that.
Absolutely. The school calendar is something that's done regionally. So we connect with those that go in that are in the Penquist region, and also work with UTC. And the rule that needs to be followed is there can't be more than 5 dissimilar days. So we do our best to align to those. We take into consideration, of course, the 175 days that are required, and looking at start time and end time. And then one note I will add for this calendar is we did increase and add an early release day based on the success that we've had this year. We've added one in January for next year.
Thank you. Any other questions from the committee about these policies? Member Speed?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the calendar. That's something that matters a lot to a lot of people. And so is it common for school to begin before the holiday in September?
It's not common. It depends upon when it falls. So what we've looked at here is that, Labor Day falls on September, what is it, the 7th? So when we look at that and we count the days out, it puts us late in June without any snow days. So that's the consideration there, and that's the reasoning behind starting. We try to keep it right into September, not in August, but that's the reasoning if Labor Day's late.
Right. I know in Ellsworth, it was always the Blue Hill Fair was really the start of the school year. But the other question I had was number of days. Is that required to be on the calendar? Or is it common practice to have the number of student days on the calendar?
Do you mean in parentheses there, the number of student days?
Just on the calendar somewhere at the bottom or
The total.
in each month, a total number? Because we're at 175.
That's what we're required to have. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As my experience, it's been on there. It's always on there, student days.
Okay.
Mhm.
Great.
Any other questions regarding the policies? Member Speed? Go ahead.
So I'm curious about the Educational Technology Compensation Guide. This is policy GDB 10, travel reimbursement. Who has travel reimbursement covered under this agreement? Because there's several positions that are under the agreement.
It depends upon conferences. So if someone goes to a conference, they're reimbursed for the travel up to a certain amount as it's listed there. This mirrors our support staff, our other contracts. So this was something that we recently discussed kind of under the umbrella of hiring and retaining our high quality staff, because we want to encourage that continuous learning. And if they have to go somewhere, we look to reimburse that within reason.
So it's not just the computer technicians, it's anybody under this agreement.
Correct.
Okay,
Mhm.
cool.
Any other questions? All right.
Yeah, I had one more question.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
So looking at the homeschooling policy, I was wondering, there's two policies there. And so I'm reading through the first reading of these, and I had a couple of questions. One is, why are they two policies and not one? And then secondly, if I could have a summary of the second one, because there's a lot of language that is struck out and a lot of language that is added, and without seeing them side by side, it can be a little bit hard to.
Absolutely. I would just ask Dr. Harris Medberg to join in there with this one. I wasn't in attendance at the last policy committee meeting.
Cool.
But the reasoning for the two is we're aligning all of our policies to MSMA's policies. So when they have two, we are adjusting ours to mirror that, just for legal and streamlining purposes. But the summary, I'm going to ask Dr. Harris Medberg to speak to that. I don't think there's a lot of changes.
There really aren't a lot of changes. We're just aligning with MSMA. And I did ask why there are two different ones and they address two different parts. So, and there's so many strikeouts in the second one because that mirrors the one that we originally had.
No, go ahead. So, and so why does it have to be two? Why can't it be one?
We're just trying to
What's-
align them to the MSMA guidance. So MSMA provides policy guidance to all schools in Maine.
Mhm.
And there had been a lot of discrepancies that we noticed as we were going through the policies in terms of the letter identification, as well as whether there was one or two policies, or sometimes there was one overarching policy, and then there were two additional supporting policies. These are all vetted through Drummond and Woodsum. So as a committee last year, we started this work to align with MSMA to ensure that we are in compliance with the law and the guidance from the attorneys.
And what is the function of both of the policies?
Well, the policies are to support homeschool families and understanding.
But there's a separation of the two. I'm just wondering if you could summarize, and maybe somebody from the policy committee could just educate.
Sure,
us.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
So first of all, there doesn't have to be two policies. Oh, sorry, I wasn't recognized.
Oh,
I'm the only one here.
please, Member O'Carey, please.
There doesn't have to be two policies. It's just best practices since we're a member of the MSMA, to have our policies mirror theirs. Actually, that was a point of discussion at our policy meeting, like why is there two? One of the reasons is because, as you can see, if there were one, it would be more difficult to read. So separating them into two policies makes it easier for perhaps a parent to find the information that they're looking for. They do have two different headers. So one talks about the generality of homeschooling. The other one, I can't remember the title, talks more specific. I did ask, the second policy seemed more like a regulation, but we actually asked MSMA and they gave an explanation as to why they have two as a policy. I can read what they say. They said, these documents were coded this way as policies because they address different aspects of homeschooling. IHBA is focused on setting up the homeschool experience and making sure that there is a meaningful learning and assessment quality assurance, as you can say, while the IHBGA is about the rights of the students to access public school opportunities to extend or complement their homeschooling. So that's why there's two separate policies. But we did have that discussion. It's like, well, maybe we could combine them. And of course we could, because we're not mandated to have two separate policies, but it makes sense, best practice, to have the two separate policies for ease of search, as well as to mirror the MSMA's, their coding system.
Thank you, Member O'Carey. Member Speed?
Okay, so just to make sure I understand. So one is really about, and this is, I encourage folks to go on our website. We have these
Mhm.
policies on the website. And so
Yes.
homeschooling families can go on and they can see that, one policy is about the expectations of homeschool families. And the other really is about extracurricular interaction and what their opportunities are. So it's kind of like academic, and then the second policy is a little bit more about extracurricular interaction. Is that correct?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Member Okiri, you just.
I mean, that's one way to summarize it, yes, but if you really want to know what it says, you read the policy. But yeah, that's a good way of summarizing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I actually want to just anecdotally share, my son was homeschooled when we moved to Bangor. We moved to the Bangor school system and as we were transitioning, he actually had the chance to be a part of the Cohen School and still feel a part of the community and visit the school, visit the teachers, get support from the teachers. The curriculums that were shared were immensely helpful to him as a homeschool child. And then also, I can say the tour that was given to my son, Noah, was incredible. The principal, Mr. and Miss Brenner, gave the tour and still asks about Noah to this day, to his name. And I'm just incredibly impressed that the staff in the Bangor School Department supports homeschool families, whether in the classroom, curriculum-wise, but also extracurricular. So I think it's fantastic. I'm curious, how many homeschool children interact with extracurricular activities within Bangor schools?
I can definitely get that number.
Okay.
I know we have around 160 students right now that are in some form of homeschooling.
Yep.
The level of participation is not something that I have off the top of my head, but I can find out.
Nice. Thank you.
Member Cook, did you want to jump in here?
I was just going to say that at the bottom of the policy, there's a reference to statute, and you can probably, if you look at the statute references, you can probably see that it's chunked based on the statute. So there's like compulsory attendance and assessment. And so that, I assume that's probably why it's chunked in the way that it is.
Gotcha.
Any other questions on these policies? Member Speed?
So I mentioned that these policies are on our website. Are they easy to search?
Yes.
So you can type in the search bar on our website, homeschooling,
Yep.
and it will come up.
Correct.
Member Okiri?
And as a member of the policy committee, it's my practice to, while we're in the meeting, to search the policy to see if I can find it. And we found that, there were some missing links and whatnot, and we corrected that, but Dr. Spegberg, Harris Spegberg corrected it within a couple of days. So it's actively being monitored.
That's perfect. Nice.
Any other questions on these policies? Member Speed?
So on equivalent instruction policy IHBGA, so section 8, if and when the school unit does not provide academic instruction for specific grade levels, the following applies for students enrolled in an approved program of equivalent instruction. So, and it goes into class participation and tuition payment, participation eligibility, interscholastic activities. Can we provide an example of what this looks like? So just paint a picture for me. What does this actually look like? So this is on page 44 of the school packet. It's equivalent instruction policy IHBGA, and it's section 8. So standards for participation when tuition payment to another unit is required. I just wanted to get my arms around this. Like, what does this look like?
My section 8 says mandated educational assessments. I'm not sure if we're looking at the same thing.
Okay.
Oh,
so-
13. Oh, Roman
13.
13.
Sorry,
Okay.
my mistake. Thank you.
There's a lot in here to kind of summarize.
Yeah.
Is this something that I can just follow up with you on after some deeper discussion with
Sure.
Dr. Harris Medberg?
Yeah, I just want to get an idea. This is first reading, so I just want to, before we do a second reading.
Absolutely.
my arms
Mhm.
around it.
I can give you a quick example. So like if there is, like they don't offer football, they do have the option to go to another school to be able to participate in that. If if there are things that are not offered, there's an opportunity to go somewhere else to provide those opportunities.
Any other questions on the policies? Member Speed?
Yeah, so I'm looking at the last question, I promise. Parent involvement in Title I programming, policy KBF. And so parent relations in particular, it reads parents and guardians of children identified for participation in Title I program shall receive from the building principal and Title I staff an explanation of the reasons supporting their child's selection, a set of objectives to be addressed, and a description of the service to be provided. Parents will receive regular reports on the child's progress and be provided opportunities to meet with the classroom and Title I teachers. Parents will also receive training, materials, suggestions as to how they can assist in the education of their children at home. Again, this is first reading, so help me understand a little bit more about this policy and a little bit about this change, what appears to be a change in this policy. How does this currently change what we currently do, and is it attainable?
Yeah, Dr. Harris Medberg oversees our Title I services, so she can speak to that.
It really doesn't change our policy a lot. It just changes the wording to align with MSMA. There are two types of title schools. There's a targeted assistance school and there's a school-wide school. Within a targeted assistance school, students have to test in through a universal screening tool and then test out. We do not have any targeted assistance schools in Bangor. We only have school-wide, which means students can flex in and out based upon their needs. So if it's a very short, quick thing that they need help in, they can just flex in, get help in that, and then flex out. The parent, by law, in order to take the title allocations, we have to allocate 1% of all of the allocation towards family engagement. Those family engagement pieces are through what we call our peak events, and they are events that encourage parents to come in with their children to learn a variety of skills or practices that they can do to help their children be successful at home, which would help them in turn be more successful at school. Something as simple as how do you read with your child at night, and types of questions that you can ask and games that you can play and things like that. Did I answer everything? Yeah.
I think that's wonderful. Thank you so much. I think it's when we're doing first readings definitely first readings to better understand these policies, we dive in, we read the policies, check on them, make sure we understand them, and then just having this context is really incredibly helpful. I really appreciate the conversation.
Thank you. All right. Unless there's any other questions, we'll move on. All right, moving on to committee. Oh, we do have to vote. That is correct. Can I have a motion?
You have the motion and the.
We do have the motion in a second.
Yep.
All those in favor?
6-0, thank you.
Thank you. All right, committee updates. Do we have any representative reports tonight?
Scholarship Committee is standing by.
Thank you for that update. All right. Student committee member update.
So we've just gotten off in lovely winter break, and student morale has been very high, at least from what I've observed. We have midterm exams coming up next week following MLK Day, and the robotics team will compete in their first competition hosted at Bangor High School. And this competition, they've given opportunities to both students and a bunch of teachers and parents to volunteer there. The winter formal organized by SubDeb will be held this Sunday as well.
MLK Day is Monday the 19th, so all Bangor schools students have the day off. Boys hockey is playing in Lewiston tonight. We wish them the best. Dr. Hutchins is accepting art from all Bangor High students for the yearbook until this Friday the 16th, I believe. And Phil the Alphond is on Saturday night versus Hamden. Thank you all.
Thank you for those updates. All right, we're moving on to questions and comments from the committee. Do we have any questions or comments from our committee members? Member Luciano?
I just wanted to give a quick thank you to Chair Surratt and Superintendent Robinson for our workshop retreat that we had yesterday. It was really informative and gained a lot of really great insight from having Eric.
Eric, yes.
Apologies. Sorry, Eric. Eric Waddell from MSBA come and share a lot of great information. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the committee? Member Speed?
Yeah, I just wanted to speak really quickly to the UTC meeting that we recently attended. And so thank you for the opportunity to share what's going on there. The exploratory group at Bangor High School has been looking at residential plumbing systems, reviewing fixtures, such as showers, dishwashers, toilets, and learning how to construct drainage systems, participating in PVC pipe solving, gluing, and pipe crimping. And so the different area high schools were reported out on the different areas that they get to look at. And every month they'll have a chance to look at a different a unit of study, such as EMS, or making cutting boards, or working with the Orono Fire Department, for example, or Bangor Fire Department. One of the things that we wanted to highlight actually also was the opportunity that UTC provides to local teachers. And so they have a program where teachers can earn CEUs by attending a program called Teaching the Tech Curricula on Mondays from 4 p.m. to 6:30. The first class starts Monday, January 26th and goes until Monday, March 30th. And so every evening, the teachers from the area will have a chance to actually go to 3 different programs at UTC, learn about the programs from those instructors and students. And the students will be there as ambassadors, which is fantastic. UTC does that really well, of engaging their ambassadors. And you knew somebody that took that course, right? And said it was an amazing experience as a teacher to learn about the trades and to just brainstorm ideas of how to integrate that into their own classroom as well. So.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments from the committee? I'll just add a quick one. I want to piggyback on Member Luciano's comments about the retreat that we had yesterday. It was wonderful. It was a great opportunity for us to come together. We met at the University of Maine at Augusta Bangor campus. I want to thank them for hosting us. We had a nice opportunity to talk about our sources of pride in the Bangor School Department over the past year. We had some good discussion about our facilities and the future of our facilities and our school buildings here in the district. Some good discussion about district initiatives and goals, so sort of looking forward. And as Member Luciano mentioned, we had an excellent presentation from Eric Waddell from Maine MSMA about school board responsibilities, roles. And we also had a nice opportunity to engage in some self-assessment of ourselves as school committee members and set some personal goals for ourselves. So thank you for all the good work yesterday. I really appreciated it. Last, I have some informational items to mention. We have Wednesday, January 28, 2026, regular meeting, 7 p.m. here in the council chambers. Wednesday, February 11th, 2026, we have the budget workshop, 7 p.m. here in the chambers. Wednesday, February 25th, 2026, regular meeting, 7 p.m. here in the chambers. Wednesday, March 4th, 2026, budget workshop, 7 p.m. here in the chambers. And finally, Wednesday, March 11, 2026, regular meeting, 7 p.m. here in the chambers. Could I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
6-0. Q.
We are adjourned.